The only difference between a dream and a goal is action. There's people who sit there and they dream on about it. I'll be honest, like I do it all the time. It would be stupid not to play the lottery when the jackpot's over 200 mil. Go drop like $10 on lotto ticket. Who knows? I might have a life-changing experience, right? But here I am finding myself hours later, you know, what would I do if I won that money? Like, oh my gosh, it could happen this time. You know what I mean? And like, that's me dreaming. But me putting action behind those dreams is me doing what I'm doing right now. Me putting action behind those dreams is putting my 4-week program on paper and sharing it with people. Me turning my dreams into goals is starting patriotic, not knowing shit. Me turning my dreams into goals is wearing these fucking My Little Pony headphones right now, because when I went to the store today to get a microphone, I forgot to get headphones and a tripod. And I'm like, I could totally dip out of this live stream tonight because I don't have headphones, but guess what, dude? I got headphones right here. They're My Little Pony. Okay. I'm like, that's a perfect example. Right? What that means is two things. Number one, we stop fucking making excuses. Why I can't start. Whether it be money, time, knowledge, resources, whatever it is. There's people who've done more with less. Step out of your fucking comfort zone and stop making excuses for why you can't start chasing that dream and turning that dream into a goal. And it starts small, one step at a time. All we got to do is show up and start doing it. And I'll tell you, on Tuesday, I'm not going to have My Little Pony headphones. And fuck, who knows? Maybe I will. Just for the sake of this podcast, I'll continue to use these same headphones because it's going to show you guys, like, hey, if you really, 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 you want it, if you want it and you're passionate and that's your goal and you want to achieve it, you're going to chase it and you're not going to let anything fucking stop you, not even My Little Pony headphones. And I'll wear these motherfuckers proudly every day. Every time I record, I'll wear them. You know why? Because I want you guys to understand that there are people out there who have done more with less. And for you to sit and tell yourself that you can't do something, you're wasting your life. You're wasting your time and you're wasting the opportunities that are granted to you. So just do it. Now, with that said, the greatest thing about this whole concept today is the internet's a thing. And if you guys haven't noticed, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, maybe you haven't even taken the time to think about it. The world today isn't about creating new ideas. It's about innovating existing concepts and things that people have already done and figured out. Hey, this guy's already done this. He's doing this. I like what he does. Maybe I would change it a little bit differently to make it better for me and apply it in a different way and see success in my own way. The greatest major innovation in technology of our time was probably the fucking toilet. Like literally world changing. And that was 100 years ago or whatever it was. I don't have the article pulled up or the resource pulled up to know exactly when the toilet was invented. But the point that I'm making is the only thing that we're doing now is we're making things better, faster, smaller, more efficient. So the same thing goes with business concept. The same thing goes with any idea that you have in terms of what you're doing, what you want to do with your life. Is there is somebody out there who's already done that. And the greatest thing about it is the fact that those resources, that experience, that knowledge is out there on the internet and it's for free. Like legit, all you have to do is be willing to put the time and the research in. Just as an example, today or yesterday when I'm like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. Fuck it, let's go. I legit went onto my phone and I typed how to start a podcast and was literally given so much information that I couldn't even process it all. So I started with one article, I read it. I started with another article and I read it. I compared the articles and looked for commonalities, and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm doing it. And guess what? Here I am today. No script, no plan, no idea how to do this. I'm just doing it. Like, okay. And guess what? I've got you guys watching, and That's a win. Even if it's one person watching this podcast the first time around, that's a win. Why? Because of all the other people in the world out there are like, you know what? I need to start a podcast. Yeah, I should. I'm a smart guy. Those dudes aren't starting podcasts, and guess what? I did it in 24 hours. So why can't you? Why can't you start a podcast or do whatever you want to do, right? The only limiting factor in the world that you have is yourself. If you've got a phone and everyone has a phone, you can start chasing your goal. You can turn your dream into a goal. All you need is a phone. I can start a business Instagram page. I can start a business Facebook page. I can start taking pictures of myself and snapping photos. Just like that. Next thing you know, you have a business. Done. Right? So, if you guys wait for opportunities to appear in front of you, the perfect opportunity for me to chase after this goal that I've had for however long, you'll never make progress. You're not going to make a change. Nothing's going to be different for you. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to do the same shit you did yesterday. The difference is with the people that are successful in this world, the people who are doing the things that they're passionate about, and the people that are making a difference, and the people that are doing the things that they love to make money, is they take the opportunities. When there's no door to open, they climb out a fucking window. So are you just going to sit inside of your box, or are you going to chase your goals? Bottom line. All right. So going further on that point and a little bit more on what I talked about with the internet, right, is being successful does not require talent. Being successful requires ambition. Being successful requires consistency. And one more thing, being successful requires failure. That's right. You must fail to be successful. All of the successful people out there in the world, they have fucking literally thousands, if not millions and hundreds and big numbers, large, overwhelming numbers worth of failure that you didn't hear about. There's a Facebook page you can look up if you're interested. It's called Goalcast, and it talks about all of the success stories of famous celebrities out there and tells you about their trials and their challenges and their obstacles that they underwent to achieve success. One of the really cool stories is Dwayne Johnson. If you're ever interested and you have time, you want to look at that. He's a really inspirational dude, and some people would say I stole this from him, but, you know, I came up with it first. All right, so now, with that said, being successful requires failure, but there's a key, very important caveat. There's a difference between just failing and failing with purpose. So what does that mean? Will Smith says it perfectly, fail forward. What does that mean? That means when I fail, I'm reflecting back on that failure and understanding why I failed and what I need to change. Trying to figure out how I can do things differently next time so that I don't fail. You're constantly improving, you're constantly adjusting, you're constantly adapting so that you can come back at the same problem from a different perspective, a different angle, a different way of doing things, and try again. And that's the key. You need to fail. You need to embrace failure. And in today's society, it's so results driven. It's so based on instant gratification. If things don't work out the first time in my relationship, if they don't work out the first week of my new job, if I don't like the class that I'm taking in college, if I don't like something that I'm doing, typically I bounce. The grass is always greener. Oh, I didn't like that, or it was too hard, or that guy was an asshole. They had it out for me, or whatever the reason. You notice that people always make their failures about other people. They place blame. They want to point the finger why they didn't succeed the very first time they tried something. Well, let's be honest, dude. The people who are really successful, the CEOs, the big money millionaires, the dudes who are out there who are making a difference, they didn't just wake up pissing excellence. They were people like you and me. Didn't know where to start, didn't know how to do it. They had a goal, they chased it. They didn't take fucking no for an answer, and they went after it. Stop waiting for the opportunity. Stop waiting for somebody to hand it to you. Stop waiting for somebody to show you how. Just do it. Go. Every fucking excuse in the book, I've heard it. And that takes me into part 2 of today's podcast as it pertains to fitness. So, about 5 weeks ago, I decided that I was going to take my own personal training routine that I use and put it on paper in a presentable document in an ebook format and give it away. The reason I did is I had this bright idea. I'm like, hey, I think this would be pretty cool. I get a lot of friends and family who ask me, and sometimes people are a little bit shy. They don't really want to reach out and ask, or they'll say, hey man, can you tell me a little bit? And nobody ever actually fully commits. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make it this easy for everybody, right? Here's my training program. Here you go. I'm going to put what I know as specific as possible into a document that you guys can use. I posted on my Instagram and I'm like, hey, how many of you guys would be interested if I gave away my training? And the feedback was insanely positive, like overwhelmingly positive. And I wasn't very active on my personal page despite having like 30,000 followers. Not something I was really consistently doing because I was really focused on my businesses at the time, and I just didn't really care to spread myself even more thin maintaining this Instagram audience. But still, I went on there. I'm like, this is a perfect audience for it. Fitness related stuff. Let's go. Hundreds of people, direct messages, comments. I was like, okay, there's a demand for this. I put it together. I spent a few days going over it, editing, revising it, making sure it looked good. I put it out there, and 5 weeks in, we're at 10,000 downloads. 10,000 downloads. And I'm amazed. So I'm like, okay, well, this is working. So let me put this onto my website. I'm going to make a Facebook page for the people that are on Instagram who want to follow me on Facebook. I did that. I started a Facebook group for the people who are doing the training, and blown away the type of feedback I'm getting from these people doing these trainings. I got dudes who are doing the training with their wives. I got dudes who are doing the training with their kids. I've got a guy, he legit lost 4 notches in his belt in 4 weeks. And I mean, if you look, a notch in your belt, that's an inch. 4 inches off of his waist in 4 weeks. And he hit me up. He's like, dude, I'm honored that you put me on your page. I think this is great. I'm so thankful for your training. He's been a huge supporter. He's bought my 12-week programs. He's bought my merchandise. He's got a hat. He's got the whole 9 yards. Like, awesome, right? It humbles me to go into that Facebook group because I see the people who are dedicated and the positive impact that I'm able to have on people around me so quickly that it was like, wow, this is something that's just really amazing. I need to just continue doing this because I have never felt so fulfilled in my mission as a person to try to help people. It's amazing. On the other side of the coin, as it pertains to that 4-week training, I also get tons of questions. I also get naysayers. I typically just block or delete their comments because they're just trolling. The most common questions that I get: I'm having trouble with my diet. I don't know what to eat. One of the funniest ones I got was, my wife cooks unhealthy food and that's why I'm overweight. Okay. I mean, there's not much I can say about that other than the obvious, right? I don't have the money to eat healthy. I don't have time to cook. And this goes back to what I was talking about during part 1. You're making fucking excuses. And you want me, who's already giving you the roadmap. You literally have the answers in your pocket. Go to the gym and do what this fucking paper says. Now you're going to tell me that you don't have time to cook or your wife doesn't cook the right food? I'm not going to call you out by name, bro, but cook your own fucking food, first of all. And don't come at me like you don't know what it's like. I work full time, because I can tell you right now, dude, I work a full time job. I go to school full time. I manage Patriotic AF full time. I manage JoshHolyfield.com full time. And I manage the other business part time with the girlfriend. She does the other part. So you're going to try to tell me, plus I got baby boy and I've got 2 daughters that I have part time. There's no way that you don't have time to cook. I'm sorry, dude. There isn't. Okay, so take that shit, throw it out the window. You're giving me excuses, and that's one thing I don't have patience for. I don't. No offense, no disrespect. And just like I say in this podcast, this is zero filter, zero snowflake environment. Like, I'm going to tell you how it is, and I'm going to tell you right now, you went as far as signing up for the 4-week trial. You showed that you had interest. You showed that you wanted to make a change in your life. But now you're have all the tools you need and you're making an excuse. Bro, I can't help you there. I even have a cookbook on my website. Legit, here are 50 recipes with a shopping list. Like, go buy the food and cook it. So another one that I get is I don't have time or money to buy a gym membership. I get it, man. Times are tough. I've been there. And here's what I'm going to say. You don't have to follow my 4-week program. But if you're really honestly committed to losing weight, there's road. But seriously, though, you don't have time or money. So if you don't have time, make time. You sleep. Well, sleep less. It takes an hour to go to the gym. If you don't have the money, I get it, dude. But my gym is $30 a month. I'm sure that's cheap. I think average gym membership for a single person is probably $40-50. If you legit have done your budget out and you've cut out your bad habits and you've changed the way that you're eating and you still don't have $50 to spare to go to the gym, I'm not judging you, dude, because like I said, I've been homeless, so I get it. But at the same time, the road is free. If you're overweight and you want to lose weight and you don't have the money for a gym, then put on a pair of fucking sweatpants and a sweater and start beating the fucking dirt. Go. Run as far as you can until you can't run anymore, and then turn around and run back. And if you can't run, then briskly walk until you can run. Bottom line. If you're committed to making a change in your fitness and your health, and it's that important to you, the fact that you don't have money for a gym membership will never be a limiting factor for you, because the road is free. You don't have to follow my 4-week training. You don't have to follow my programming. When you have the money to get a gym, I'm here for you. And shit, I'll even go as far as making a 100% at-home workout that you can do. Push-ups, sit-ups, fucking squats, whatever. I'll program that for you. So now you have zero excuses. Now, the next question that I get is very common, is what supplements can I take to make this process faster or easier? And I talk about this in my blog in quite a bit of detail, my free nutrition guide that you guys see on the website. Look, I get it. Can't deny that supplements are designed to give you results. But you know what else supplements are designed to do? Is to make you a customer. These supplement companies, when it comes to the marketing world, and I'll teach you guys a little bit more about this later on, it's all about lifetime value. Especially when you're talking about paying money for advertising. So, perfect example, and I'll be straight up and honest with you. The reason why I'm able to do paid advertising for my 4-week training, to give that away for free, is because the value that I add to you guys is so immense that most of you come back and you buy my 12-week programs or my cookbook, or you buy one of my t-shirts or whatever. And I have no shame in that, because I'm literally taking the money that you give me for the things that you can pay for on my website, and I'm investing that money back into the advertising for the 4-week training. Why? So I can bring more of you and so I can help more of you. By you purchasing from my website, you're effectively enhancing my ability to grow my audience and reach more people with the potential for positive change they can bring into their lives. So thinking about it from the perspective of a supplement company, what do they want? They're going to pay for advertising and they're going to pay for marketing from some perspective, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google, whatever. And then what they want is they want you to come back and buy that supplement again, right? And so what are the things about a supplement that make you want it? First thing is they want you to feel like you need that supplement to be successful in achieving your fitness goals. So, in my mind, as a CEO of a big supplement monster, the very first priority that I'm going to have is how do I keep these customers coming back? And the way that I do that, just like personal training or Planet Fitness does, is by keeping you there. I'm going to keep you there, right? So the way that I'm going to keep you continuing to purchase from me is to make you think that you need that. By today's standards, we're completely indoctrinated. Okay, so the other way, as a supplement company, that we're going to keep people around is we're going to make our stuff taste better. Well, just like alcohol, there's no way to make alcohol taste good unless I dilute it. Right? So, perfect example. Crown and Coke. Whiskey, straight, is disgusting. I don't care who you are. It sucks. Nobody likes drinking whiskey straight. And obviously I'm going to get somebody coming here like, whiskey is delicious. I'm a whiskey connoisseur. But the average person does not drink alcohol straight for pleasure. I don't care who you are. Okay? And the way that I change and make that alcohol taste better, or the way that I make the supplement taste better, is to cut it. Situation with supplements is I'm going to put sugar or I'm going to put artificial flavoring or other chemicals into this that this person doesn't necessarily need, but it's going to make it taste better, so it's going to keep them coming back. Okay? So going back to my original point, the question that I get is, what supplements do I need to achieve my goals? The bottom line is, I don't need supplements to achieve my goals. You don't. You don't need supplements. They are supplements. The definition of the name of that is to add to, right? It's not a requirement. It's not something you need. If you're complaining about a gym membership and you're buying fucking $50 worth of protein every month, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. The only thing that you need to achieve results in the gym is to go to the gym. And your results are not measured based upon the amount of supplements that you take. Your results are measured based upon the amount of work that you put in. So if you're signing up for the 4-week training, if you're one of my one-on-one personal training clients, if you are doing one of my 12-week programs, you need to take the fucking question out of your mind, how can I make this easier? Take that question out of your mind. It's not easier. And I joke about it in the group. I joke about it in the text of the routine. I say, I'd be lying to you if I told you this is going to get easier, because it's not. This sucks. And what happens is, over time, when you start to achieve the results and you see the gains and you become fucking swole and you start to turn into a monster and you can lift heavy weight and you can rearrange the freaking gym, then the pain is worth it. Just like a kid. If my 1-year-old knows that he's not allowed to go in the cookie jar, and every time he goes into the cookie jar and he gets busted for it, he gets his ass whooped. He gets a spanking, but then he goes back and gets a cookie tomorrow anyway, knowing that if he gets a cookie and gets caught, he's going to get a spanking. He is making a decision in his mind. The pain is worth the pleasure of this cookie. I don't care if I get caught, because I want this cookie that bad. So for you, eventually when you start seeing the results that you want to see in the gym from working hard and it being painful and it sucking, you're going to think to yourself, this sucks, but I look great. This sucks, but I'm losing weight. This sucks, but I'm achieving the goals that I want to achieve. So you're going to do it, and you're going to become addicted to it, and you're going to chase it. And it's going to be something that you embrace, that pain. And that's where this comes from. You are literally so addicted and so passionate and so ambitious towards achieving the goals that you want to achieve that the pain doesn't matter. It's temporary, and the results that you get from working out and putting the work in are permanent. So I absolutely love the great things that I've been getting from this 4-week training. Love it. The positive feedback. But there's a small percentage of people who have this excuse mentality, and I'm telling you right now, if you're listening, you need to break it. Not just in the gym, but going back to what I was talking about, turning your dreams into goals. Break the fucking cycle of making excuses for yourself. Not only does no one care, but that excuse is not going to hold up when you're 10, 20 years later still making that same excuse with no change in your lifestyle, your physique, or your place in life. So that kind of leads me into my next discussion. I'm going to talk about the not so secret biggest secrets about getting in shape and getting into fitness. And I did a poll the other day or yesterday talking about, hey, if I did a podcast, what would you guys want me to talk about? And the two major things, again, going back to what I talked about earlier, was diet and time, making time and being consistent. And here it is. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is if you're fat, if you're overweight, if you're not where you want to be as far as your shape is concerned, you need to realize that it took you this long to get as fat as you are. However long it took you. So like if you've been out of the gym for a few years, or if you've never been to the gym and you're 30 or 40 or 50 and you're overweight, you need to realize it took you 30 years to get as fat as you are. And you were consistent about it. You were consistent about not going to the gym. You were consistent about eating dog shit. So what makes you think that you're going to just do this 4-week training, or you're going to go into the gym for a few weeks and suddenly you're not going to be fat anymore? One of the not so secret biggest secrets about the gym and fitness is you need to be just as consistent with not being fat as you were with being fat. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's true. You have to be consistent. So when you tell me, well, I'm not sure what to eat, well, don't eat what you're eating. That's a start. Or eat less of what you're eating, right? And I have a very close friend of mine, Chris, who contributes quite a bit to the Facebook group. Somebody said, I don't have the money to eat the right food. And he's like, dude, I'm a disabled vet, permanent and total. I was literally living paycheck to paycheck from money given to me by the VA. And I got in shape. Why? Because that wasn't an excuse for me. I ate tuna and rice. Literally the cheapest things that you can buy in the grocery store, and probably more healthy than anything most people are eating anyway. Tuna and rice. You can get in shape on that diet. So it's not necessarily about I'm having trouble with my diet. It's about, well, that food isn't good to me, so I don't want to eat it. Okay, well, food is fuel. You're eating food to fuel your body, not to pleasure yourself, and you need to lose that mentality. So the next not so secret, biggest secret about getting in shape when it comes to losing weight is fitness is actually really simple. Getting big or losing weight or whatever your goal is, it's super easy. The bottom line is if you want to lose weight, eat less calories than you burn. So if I'm sedentary and I do nothing all day, then there's no reason for me to be eating all day. If I'm in the gym a lot and I work out a lot, then as long as I'm consuming less calories than I burn while I'm working out, then I'm going to lose weight. There's really no way around it. Why? Because your body has nothing left to use as fuel other than the fat it's storing. And that's why your body stores fat, is so that it has a fuel reserve. And what happens is when you build up your reserve too much, you become fat. So start using your fuel reserves. Eat less. If you want to gain muscle and gain weight, and that's actually a very common question I get too, is guys who are like, hey, I'm in the gym, I'm working out, and just genetically my metabolism is so high, or my body composition is just not conducive to building muscle and gaining weight. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're a skinny guy and you're having trouble gaining weight, if you want to gain muscle and get bigger, you have to eat more than you burn. And I used to be that way. I'm going to tell you right now, I told you I did some time in the military. When I got out of the military, I was 160 pounds, 155, 160 pounds. I was skinny. The point that I'm making is the only way that I was actually able to gain weight was by literally eating like a garbage disposal. Your body will eventually grow. It'll be forced to grow if you eat. You have to eat. Eat. And then when you're not hungry, keep eating. I know it's a shitty problem to have. Now, obviously, don't just go to like McDonald's and get yourself like 2 double quarter pounders and force feed yourself. But just make sure you're eating within reason. And the cool thing about this whole not so big as secrets about fitness is I literally have a macro calculator for free on my website. You go in there, you plug your weight in, and it spits out numbers for you and tells you, hey, based upon your weight, and here's your goal, line it up. You want to lose fat, you want to gain muscle, this is how much you need to eat. Done. And then all you got to do is just go on to the internet again and get one of those free apps like MyFitnessPal or whatever and plug in the foods that you're eating each day, and it'll tell you this is where you're at. You need to eat more or you're done eating for the day. Sorry. Pretty easy. Okay. So closing this whole section out about the common questions and turning your dreams into goals and stop making excuses is this. And this is the last secret for you. Training in the gym should suck. Like, when you go to the gym and you work out, it should be difficult. And you should be sweating your ass off every single time. It should suck. There's no way around it. Like, you need to be in pain. By the time you leave that place or by the time you're done with your workout, whatever you're doing, you need to leave everything there. My wrestling coach used to say this all the time during wrestling practice. If you didn't leave everything on the mat during your match, then you didn't do well enough. I don't care if you won or you lost. If you didn't go out there and you didn't give it everything you have and you got pinned, why did you even go out there? Same thing with the gym. Go into that place, put some fucking music on, throw your headphones in, whatever music you listen to. For me, it's Michael Jackson when I'm lifting. I boogie down in there. You should see it. It's hilarious. And just go. No distractions. Put your phone away and go. Fucking go. You got the plan. You got the number of sets. You got the number of reps. You got the rest periods. Hit it. And you finish that set. By the time you're done with that set, if you weren't struggling to put that last rep up, put more weight on. Do it again. If you weren't struggling, put more weight on. If you struggled and you're not confident that you can do that same amount of weight again for the required rep range, take some weight off. Every set. Push it up. Pull it. Whatever you got to do. Rep it. Hammer it. 100%. Every set. Every rep. And if you go in with that mindset, by the time you're done with your workout, you should be drenched. You shouldn't have time to be sitting there texting with fucking Steven, going back and forth about how his day was, or Billy, or whoever. You should literally be in there just done. That's why you guys don't get a lot of content from me actually working out in the gym, is because I'm not going to let my phone distract me while I'm working out. I'm there for one reason. For me, that reason is I want to be as big and strong as humanly possible. And the only way that I'm going to do that is by going into the gym and is lifting as much weight as heavy as possible every single time. And if you want to lose weight, then you should go on that treadmill for as fast as you can until you can't go that fast anymore. And then go slower until you can't go that fast anymore. And then go slower until you can't go that fast anymore. Until you're to a point where you can't even fucking walk. Or you don't want to walk. And then you should limp your way out of the gym, go home and eat until you're not hungry anymore. Your body will tell you, okay, I'm not hungry anymore. Drink a shitload of water, go to sleep, wake up, and go back and do it again tomorrow. That's the secret to the gym. My routine is just a roadmap. It's giving you the answers. Hey, this is how we can do this so that we're developing your body in a symmetric way that's scientifically going to enhance your muscle growth or help you lose fat. But even if you didn't follow my routine and you went in and you did chest day, back day, or whatever, however you want to do it, if you do that for 6 months, it's literally impossible for you not to change your physique and the way that you look. How do I know? Because that's what I did. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started working out. I just went. Figured it out as I went. And then as I started going and YouTube started becoming a thing and there was resources out there, then I started doing research and learning a little bit more, learning from people that are around me, my friends, other people that I knew. And next thing you know, I've become what I am now. And now I know. But what this whole mindset all leads back to is if getting in shape, being big or being strong or whatever your goal is was easy, everybody would be walking around looking like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it'd be more of a status symbol for people to be fat because it's so easy to get buff or get strong. There's a reason why having great physique is considered a status symbol to a certain degree, especially among men, is because it's difficult. It's not that everybody can't do it. It's difficult. So when you see somebody who's jacked and juicy, you immediately know that dude puts in the work. Now, obviously, there's going to be naysayers out there who are going to talk shit, blame supplements or steroids or whatever. But the bottom line is supplements, steroids, no steroids, whatever. You're not getting big unless you lift and unless you lift hard. So just real quick before I go into closing, I'll answer these last two questions. What if you get home late? Should you still grub now? And here's what I'm going to say is a lot of people say, hey, you don't typically want to eat 2 hours before you go to bed. And then in your situation, you're probably doing your workout late after the kids are down, you're done with work, and this is the only opportunity that you have during the time that you have. What I would suggest that you do in that specific instance is get home and just cut the carbs from the food that you consume. Load up on protein, maybe smash a protein drink, get it done. That way you're giving your muscles some fuel. You could look at like a protein isolate for your drink or a casein instead of a whey protein, which has a ton of carbs in it. That way, at least you're giving your body the fuel and your muscles the fuel that they need to grow, but you're not overloading with carbs that you're not going to use while you're sleeping. What I would say is if you're using that method, it's probably a good idea to eat dinner, something like that, before you go. And that's when you should be consuming the majority of your carbs during the day. That way you burn them during your workout and then throw some protein in there afterwards, if that answers your question. To answer John's question, what cardio do you think works the best? The cardio that works the best is the cardio that gets your fucking heart rate where it needs to be. So for me, I got a bad ankle. It's terrible. It's got terrible range of motion. I can't really run. So what I like to do, if I do cardio, is I very rarely, I'll be honest with you guys, like I know my programs call for cardio, but that's not something I really care to do. I'll do a row machine or I'll do elliptical. The one machine that I can't stand is a stationary bike. Obviously, like the ones in spin class where you can turn up the resistance on it and you're doing it to like a Peloton or an instructor, that's going to fuck you up. Like that's good cardio. But the type of machine where you sit down on the bike and it's got the pedals and the TV on it and you go like this, like you're wasting your fucking time. Never in my life have I gone into a gym and seen somebody on one of those stationary bikes getting after it fucking right. It's always some old guy with a book or something like yes, I'm spending my time at the gym this evening. You're not going to lose weight on one of those bikes, so why even fucking sit on it? This is actually a recent discovery for me. Personally, my absolute favorite form of cardio is a row machine. Why? It's a full body exercise. It's working my back. It's keeping me engaged. And I'm not just sitting there like, I can't stand that. And that's the one thing that I don't like about doing cardio is it feels like, okay, here we are. And you're sitting here like 30 seconds later. That was the longest 20 minutes ever. And then you're like, oh my God, I still have 19 minutes to go. I just don't like that. So row machine, at least you're doing something, right? And you're actively engaged. And in my opinion, it's my favorite form of cardio, if that answers your question. But bottom line is, it doesn't really matter what type of cardio you do. The goal is your target heart rate. If you have a heart rate monitor, whatever your weight is and your age and whatever that is. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, you should be doing cardio to the point where you feel your heart getting ready to basically explode from your chest and then slow down like 2 notches, and that's the speed you should be going. Again, people try to overcomplicate the simple shit. Bottom line is, just like with lifting weights, if I do a set of 10 and I did that set and it was like, then what did I do? Right? So the concept is like, if I'm doing low weight, I'm going to do enough reps to where it becomes difficult eventually and my muscles are on fire. If I'm doing high weight, I'm going to reduce my volume because I can't lift that many reps with that much weight. Pretty basic. And then with cardio is, I'm going to run, walk, swim, row, or whatever at a rate that's difficult for me. If it's not difficult, then why are you doing it? Don't go through the motions when you're doing this stuff. Go in there for a purpose. All right, so for this podcast, and this is kind of in closing, I really talked about I spent a lot of time talking about some of the feedback that I've gotten on the 4-week trial and some of the questions that I've got. And really my goal was to kind of apply that to an overarching concept for today, which is, turning your dreams into goals, right? And it goes back to the last point that I had during part 1 was don't wait, act, right? And that really leads into kind of the overarching theme of the second portion of our discussion today was excuses. There is a fucking excuse for everything. Bottom line is, I don't need to beat the dead horse. Stop making them. You need to be adult enough, mature enough, and grown enough to recognize that you're making an excuse for yourself. And you're not going to make any change or progress in your life until you start holding yourself accountable. There are a million excuses, there are 1,000 reasons. Everything is justifiable for why you did or didn't do something. But the only person that can hold yourself accountable and who knows whether or not that was a reality or an excuse is you. And if there's any way that you can think of doing what you made the excuse for not doing, then it was an excuse. So step off of that. Take action. Force yourself into a position of discomfort